Okay, where are we holding? No thanks.
No?
Where do we leave off? On the top. Yeah, top of Amud Aleph. We good?
Yes, we hear you. We're good.
I know. Start the share, and all of a sudden everybody starts calling my phone. All right. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, yeah, 4 lines down. So Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, so we had said on one of the brises yesterday that how do you know? That's what this whole sugi is. How do we know where this thing's buried, where this thing's not buried? So Yehuda Aimer, Achi Yehesham Zakin a Talmud, until there's a Zakin or a Talmud, right? Lefisha Eina Kol Beki and Bedover. Not everybody's an expert. So not everybody's an expert to know what's going on with graves. So, but the Zakin or the Talmud, so they know. Some Rabbi Shmami, no, we hear from this. Tzuvim Rabbanon, the Ikab Masa, if there's a young Talmud Chacham in the city, Kol Mili the Masa Le Ramya. Everything that goes on in the city goes through him. Right? So Rashi says, because he's a Bucky. So since he's a Bucky, so he's going to know everything that's going on. So therefore, he's trustworthy to know where somebody's buried and where it's not. Right? L'chayra, I don't know what this means. That means because he cares? Is that pshat? Because he cares? And everybody else doesn't care? Could that be? Right?
It could be simply halacha, no?
What do you mean?
Not Maris, in Chatzitza, Chafitza. You need to know the kind of person it is. So you need to know town. You need to know people are.
Okay, so I'm saying so he's saying because out it's halacha.
Yeah.
Okay, so it means, so why is he know the halacha as opposed to know it? Because he's asked questions, or
Because he's the Rav, he's a Tzurmei Rabbanim.
so I'm saying, so the Rav knows everything. Why should the Rav know where somebody's buried? Because everything goes. I guess everything goes through him.
Right.
That's all.
Hopefully he gave the hesped.
Yaakov, it's
Yeah,
like the added.
Yeah,
it's
hopefully
like
he went to the
down
funeral.
shul, that the rabbi's the mayo, he's the shaychet, he's the he's doing everything.
Yeah, but it doesn't say. It says Zaken or Talmud. It doesn't say the rabbi.
Okay.
Right? Okay, whatever it is. I'm not okay. That's what you want to say. Then it says the Talmud, not the Rav. Meaning, some of the town had a Rav too. That's the assumption, right?
I thought that was the Zakin, no? The Zakin's not the Rav, and the Talmud is the one who's doing Shemesh by him.
Boy, that's reading a lot into the whole thing. Okay. What happens if he's a young rabbi? Who says every rabbi is old? We have lots of young rabbis.
Hadar to play Zakin doesn't mean old.
All right, debatable.
In context.
Or yeah. Okay, so now back to graves. Amar Abaye, Shmami no tzur. No, we did it. Okay. Amar Rav Yehuda, Matzah Evan Mitzayanis. If you find a stone that's marked, now what's it marked with? So Rashi says it's marked with sid. Sid is like it's lime, right? So if it's a rock is marked with lime, then that's a guarantee that there's a mace under that rock. Tachtel, so tachtel tame, under that rock is tame. Shtayim, but I don't do 2 rocks. You have 2 rocks with lime on them. So im yesh sid beinein. So if there's lime in between the rocks, beinein tame. So in between them is considered tame. V'meid sid beinein, but if there's no lime in between them, beinein tar. Then in between them is tahar. Right? But if you ever go in the Beis HaKvaros in Tzvas, it looks like that's the way they marked graves. The old graves, like they're just like little mounds of cement, right? It looks very Hamish in that, very Hamish the way they did it. I mean, obviously they had to redo because of all the earthquakes. They had to redo probably the cemetery multiple times. But yes, okay. So Valgav the Lekach Chayrish and Gemara asks, and even though there's no siman that there was plowing there, meaning we're saying if there's no sid between them, it's tar. Huh? Are we saying that even if we don't know about it being plowed, meaning if it was plowed, then the assumption is that the mace got cut up or whatever it is. But Tanya, but we learned in the Brisa, Matzah Evan Achas Mitzayenis, if you find one stone that's marked off, Tachteh Tameh, then under it is Tameh Shtayim, Im Yesh Chayrish Beinein. If you find two stones, so if it was plowed between them, then Beinein Tar, in between them is Tar. Bim Lav. And if not, Beinei Tummy, then between them is tummy. So you see that even if there's no lime there, it's only if you know that it was plowed. So the way it looks like, these rocks looks like somebody poured the lime down on top of the stones, and it's spread out. Like when you pour something on a hill or whatever, so the stuff spills on either side, right? So when it looks like that, so then if it looks like it was plowed in between them, tar, it's tar. The aimer machmas chayrashu the ikil, because maybe because of the plowing, that's why it came off the stone. V'iloi sid the beni hu b'tami, and if not, then it's the lime belongs it's beni in between, and therefore it's going to be tummy. Fine. So Amar Ravasi. Let's say one side of the field was marked, hu tameh b'chol asada kula tar. So then that side of the field is tameh, and the rest of the field is tar. Shnayim, if two parts of the field, meaning it makes an L shape, then haim tameh and b'chol asada kula taris. And then the L shape, wherever those markings are tameh, and the rest of the field is tar. Shloisha, if it's three, haim tameh and b'chol asada kula tahira, and all three sides, and the rest of the field is Torah. Arba. So now what would you say? Hain Taharin, the Kula Tameya. So they're Tar, and the rest of the field is Tame, right? So Mamish the opposite. Again, if it's one side, right? If it's one side, so then we say that only that side is Tame, everything else is Tar. Two sides, the same thing. Three sides, the same thing. But if until
a gavul, right? Until like there's some type of the ends.
Right.
And also, is there? I know we mentioned it last night, possibly, but is there a time limit? Like I don't know how I don't know if bones break down or don't break down after about 1,500, 2,000 years, whatever. But like I can imagine there's not much left, and like. If that's the case, how do any Kohanim live in Israel? Because there would be like
it's not a push of the thing. How Kohanim live in Israel?
Really?
Yeah.
Or go anywhere.
There's graves everywhere in Israel. I don't know about here.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a Europe.
I don't know.
Europe is one big graveyard for Jews.
I've heard people bring this up. No. So I don't know. Tumas oil by a guy is already a Machlokes.
In America, it's not such a problem, or in Europe, not such a problem. Because you go out.
But Zevi, but like, I'm not just talking about the Shoah. I'm talking the not the Inquisition, the Crusades, and
yeah. But if you go right is going, even if everything in time. So you could assume, maybe it could be assumption that there's nothing. That does not roiv people goyim, and therefore you can go out to roiv in the kind of kawar. That's all the Jews.
It makes it better, even though we're machmer lechatchila for kehanim.
What do you mean for roiv? You mean even roiv?
No, we're machmer for kehanim even from goyim lechatchila. Anyways. So if all four sides of the field are marked, then the corners are tahar, and the whole field is tameh. Because the reason why they surrounded the field with markers is because they wanted to let you know that the entire field is tameh. We don't make a tzion, a marking from a makam tumah shaloi lahaser Eretz Yisrael, not to make Eretz Yisrael lose. Right? So that's why they made the only on the outskirts of this field. So now we know that that field is tameh, right? And it's nothing further than that. And if it's only on one side, so it's only that one side that's going to be tameh and nothing else, because they wouldn't have marked off anything. If there was more tumah, then you have to mark it off, and if there wasn't any tumah, then you're not going to mark it off, right? Fine.
This Shaloi Lehefzer, it says as follows. A chumrah? What is it?
Who?
This Shaloi Lehefzer.
It's a chumrah.
What is it?
What if we don't want to make Eretz Yisrael lose? We don't want to take away from the land of Eretz Yisrael.
What's the problem if you do?
What I mean, because we want to have the most of Eretz Yisrael that we could have. That's going to be access to people, right?
Well, because the Yishuv Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah. That's why I understand it.
Presumably, it could be a bittul mitzvahs aseh.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's why I think it's a
burying
pshat.
people is part of life also. I mean, you need to have the space for them also.
Tiago, this is where it comes from the Makar that people used to just bury in their own farms, not in a big public place. When did it switch to that?
I have a better question.
Yeah, I think I don't know what the makar is, but I think back then that's what they did. They buried right there. They didn't.
So Shaloi Lehefzer, it says Eretz Yisrael. I have a very good question. What right do we have to go bury ourselves in Eretz Yisrael?
Who had? Gershon, you asked this?
Too late.
I'm
Reb
asking.
Zev, if you don't.
Zev, you're a
You
day
have
too
to
late.
be on-
Somebody. Who asked this yesterday? Gershon?
Gershon.
Yeah, it was
Gershon.
me. Yeah.
After the daf, you could fight it out. But both you and Gershon agree. Chaval Yishver is not on.
Baruch Hashem, we agree.
There you go. You're in good company, both of you.
Look
You're in
at
good
that.
company. Yeah. Okay, bye. Okay, now we're done with graves. Now we go into kelaim.
I just
Right.
want to
So
that's
Yaakov, Lamaisa, when a person, if he doesn't an entire, you're saying you're gonna make them have to designate more basic forests.
Where in Eretz Yisrael?
I'm saying they designate the whole area for basic forests. It's not like they already were Mitzayin all, Arba. When they designate an entire place to be a burial place, it's not like you're taking up any. I guess you're causing them to continue
No,
to
but
use
this
more.
that's nowadays. But back then it wasn't. They just buried in random places. That's
Right,
what
but you're
I'm
asking
saying.
Lamaisa nowadays, Mechatesi. It's a basic forest. I'm saying.
Akiva, so let me ask you. So if we wouldn't have 10,000 Americans buried in Eretz Yisrael, they wouldn't have to open up at Shemesh, right? So now the
Right, I understand. You're saying you're causing them a melo.
because of a mail.
But I understand. So then, well, look, this is what we answered yesterday. We weren't sure what we're talking about, but that's normal, right? So why don't we just bury everybody outside of Eretz Yisrael?
No, what do you mean? A person.
What's
what
more
do you
We
mean?
want to save.
Make
we
it
wanna-
usher to bury anywhere in Israel.
No, why?
No, we want to save
And
them.
you
the
save the
Yisur, no?
land.
We learned
First of
from
all,
the
by the
Ma'aser
way,
Rabbi
you know that there's
Akiva.
a shortage. There is a shortage in Eretz Yisrael, and on Har Manuchas, they're burying in levels now, right?
I saw also in Harazim. Isn't that the ad in the paper recently?
They've
Selling
been burying.
plots
They've
to
been
go
burying in levels for years.
Not in Har Zasim, but Har Menuchos they are. Yeah, they're going in levels. But I
don't
thought
know,
they were
Jimmy.
against it. I thought they were
It's a big
stopping it.
tumult. It's a big tumult. Whether it is.
What do you mean you're gonna do over here? You know what I mean? Our parents are buried. My father.
Yeah.
Maybe I misunderstood the Gemara, but the way I understood it was where you placed a marker has to do, meaning if you placed a marker smack in middle, almost like we had by the Aruvei Chetzeres, it has to go around, you have a circumference. So if you're not direct with it, you now
Eretz.
can't walk anywhere.
Yes, then a chanami. No, you're right. That's why if it
That's
was
what it's
flat,
referring to, not referring to, don't bury in Eretz Yisrael, meaning put your marker and let it know exactly where the mace is, and that's why you won't waste any extra land. Not
Right,
don't
but you
bury
don't-
Oh, you mean like when you go to Miron, where they tell you where it is?
I mean, this is the head of the body, not the foot of the body. So you know you could step on this side of the stone, not the other side of the stone. If you just
right,
have a
but that's
stone
only
in the
when
middle,
you're. That's only you're right, but that's only like when they do it like in tzvas, where they're making it flat on the ground. So until you don't chop that you're standing on the grave until you're right on top of it. But now that we make graves, tombstones up, there's no concern for that. So then you don't have to cover the whole. They do it anyways, but you don't have to cover the whole area because a kohen or somebody with truma is walking by and he sees a gravestone, right? Tombstone, then he's gonna know that he has to stay. He knows the height of a person, 5 feet, 6 feet. To stay away, he'll know how to stay away. It's only if it's flat on the ground where you don't chop. So then that's why they needed it to be further, but you don't want to make it further than the whole body.
Why in their soul do they have on top, the stone on top? That has nothing to do with anything?
What do you mean on top?
No, in America, we just have the tombstone. But in Israel, it's lying down.
It's a huge
higher up.
slab. It's a huge
Right.
slab. I don't know what the shot is. They have it like.
What
that.
about
I don't
having
know.
these big tziyunim? Isn't that a waste of space?
Now you're talking. I
Hey,
hear
now
that.
you're messing with the rubbers.
I'm not messing with anybody.
I
'Cause I'm not-
Sounding
pretended to
like a
see
lid
him
box.
and shut your, you know.
David Speyer, tell us you're a Misnagid without telling us you're a Misnagid.
Why he's wearing his bright green Bekisha. But I hear that. I don't know. How do you talk to go make it seeing? Unless they're gonna say that it's a makam tefillah, that's probably what they're gonna say.
And see, what are all these people gonna do with their lives if they don't have places to go?
Enochanami. You're right. Maybe they'll gamble. I don't know. Okay.
I mean,
So-
I don't want more people in Shul for Rosh Hashanah. Let them go to Oman. Let them go
Right.
someplace. We don't need more people here.
Fair enough.
Uman's not Eretz Yisrael. I don't know what you think Uman is. It's not Eretz Yisrael.
Maybe could it be that burial?
I know it's not Eretz Yisrael, but it's still a.
From Tzviakov, could it be that
Yeah.
burial is considered like Yishuv Eretz Yisrael?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Burial
How
in
is it Yishuv
Tzaddik
Eretz Yisrael?
probably
They're dead.
is.
The mitzvah is while you're alive.
No, but it's Tzaddik possibly is. First of all, Misasam Zeu Chiyusan. And besides for that, the tefillas, the people daven there is Yishuv. That's Yishuv Eretz Yisrael.
Why is that Yishuv Eretz Yisrael?
That's the
There's
best
no
use of Eretz Yisrael there
Akiva, there's no
possibly
better
is.
Yishuv than being dead.
I agree, but why is that Yishuv Eretz Yisrael?
No,
Why is
the
davening
tefillas,
somewhere
people
being
go daven
Yishuv
there.
Eretz Yisrael?
That's
When you
the best
daven
use
Eretz
of
Yisrael, you're being Mekayim the mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael?
Possibly.
Where do you get
Then we
that
can
from?
then we can hold one day.
What?
What?
when we
Where
get
does
when we
Yishuv
get
Eretz
up
Yisrael
to
have
the
to do with
steps of
davening?
Yishuv
Yeah,
Eretz
according to a
Yisrael,
lot
we
of
can
Paiskim, you
discuss
can't
it then.
call, you can't keep one day.
As far as I know, there's no Masechta called Yishuv Eretz Yisrael.
All right. That means Peretz, the Mashkiach, wants us to go weiter.
I finished my soup. Now we can go.
Okay, good. V'yotzen afal kelaim. Yeah, so you go even on kelaim. Now, this means that they go out to make sure people don't plant kelaim. Believe it or not, somebody asked me a kelaim shiloh today. Right? Now, I'll tell you what a confusion is. Kelaim is only applicable in Eretz Yisrael. It's not applicable in Chutz La'aretz. People are not aware of that.
I thought Jacob, I thought you were going to say somebody asked if they can mix up their chips.
No, no. This person wanted to have in a pot, and they put in two different seeds. I don't know if it was in a pot and he wants to know how far away it has to be from each other. So in America, it doesn't have to be far away from each other. There's no kelaim in America in Chutz La'aretz. There is grafting. Grafting there is, but not kelaim. Stam agav, an interesting point.
Even
What's the shiloh in America? Like what?
He wanted to know how close together can he plant these two different seeds of two different types of whatever he was planting. He didn't tell me what he was
Oh,
planting.
like vegetables for the garden, you mean?
Tell him to look in. That's kelaim. What do you call it? Perik Gimel. It talks about all the distances and things like that.
Right.
Now we had X marks the spot. You have five crops in Dalad.
But that's in Eretz Yisrael.
Right.
In America, it doesn't make a difference.
Aren't there shitas that say that most halacha bisman is like we're really just remembering it. So for the time we get to
Yeah, it depends on which, a lot of the karka,
So why
a lot of
can't so
the-
why wouldn't we say that by kelaim and all the other Zrayim Dika halachos?
we do. What do you mean? For chutz la'aretz, we do.
Do we? You just said the kelaim isn't it's only for Eretz Yisrael.
It is only for Eretz. It is. Kelaim's only for Eretz Yisrael, not.
But
not
why wouldn't we be careful with it here?
Oh, kelaim is the only one that really. Kelaim is the only one, I think. Obviously, Shemitah, but that's basically it. The other things we do. Arla we have, but whatever. I just don't understand. Anybody come across this or hear this on the shir? Why for this mitzvah do we have to send out people to make sure that people are keeping the laws? Nothing else. I'm saying, what do we know? Anything else that we send out shluchim to make sure Klal Yisrael is keep? Do we send out shluchim to make sure they're not talking during davening, or that they're davening with a minion?
Yeah, they're shushers.
There's shushers in each shul, but Bezdin doesn't send them out.
Sure feels like they did.
Okay, I'm saying
Those shushers are very independent.
I don't understand. I'm saying, what are we sending for this? We're sending people out. I don't know. I don't. Did any? Okay, nobody came across
The what we call art scroll down here by 17 says the expression "they go out" implies that it is not merely permitted for the agents of the Beis Din to inspect for Chol Hamoed, but rather this is the set time at which they are sent out. The reason is because Pesach.
I understand because of the timing.
Is when the grain begins to grow and the kelaim becomes noticeable. I think maybe there's a problem. Maybe there's a problem laid down by if they're worried about Pesach and things like that. Maybe that's what the problem is.
No,
I don't know. It's but it's a strange
things of that nature.
Maybe, but I'm saying we don't see. You're right. We don't send people out for Chodesh. We don't send people out to make sure they're keeping Peah or
no. It's a din on Pesach.
If somebody's wearing kelaim, you're allowed to rip it off him, right?
Correct.
If somebody's talking lashon hara, you're allowed to go slap him in the face.
I would think so. I don't.
Maybe kelaim is more common.
Meaning kelaim is there's more of a physical that we're doing.
Could be. I don't know, but I don't know the pshat. I just don't understand the pshat. You know, I once sent out in a text that if somebody has an unfiltered smartphone, so you could break it and you don't have to pay. And did I get a backlash on that one? But I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was in your stirring up days with the shaitels and all the other stuff.
No, it was way before that.
Yeah, it was way before that.
Anyways, okay, I don't know. So I don't know see the pshat. Okay, but it's getting late. So let's go back. Kelaim b'chol shamayed naftinon. Right, and they go out. I'm saying it's a question. Now, Kelaim b'chol shamayed naftinon. They go out on Chol Hamoed. Or a minute, let's give stira. We're going to see in the brisa that they went out before Chol Hamoed. Be'echad ba'adar. On the first of Adar, Mashmin ala shkalim, they let everybody know that they're going to have to pay the shkalim, ala kelaim, and they're going to let everybody know that, by the way, no kelaim, you can't do kelaim, because that's like Simon said, they're going to start planting. But Chamisha also on the 15th, Karan as a Megillah, the Krachim, they read the Megillah in the walled cities. Now it's interesting, like why is the walled cities is a minority? Why don't they say on the 14th? That's when they start. That's when we read the Megillah, right? It says that it goes straight to the 15th. Okay, so Tyson says because we're going to discuss other things on the 15th, so that's why it goes with the Megillah on the 15th. But Yotzin Lakavetz Adrachim, and they go to make sure there's no thorns in the streets, or Lasakan Archivas, and to fix the streets, for Lamed HaMikvais, and to measure the Mikvais, and do everything the public needs. Umatainas Akvaris, and they mark the Kvaris, Yotzin Alaklayim, and they go out on Klayim. When does all this take place? On Purim. That's when they do this all on Purim, not on Chol Hamoed. So it's a stira. The Brisa says you go out on Purim, and the what do you call it? And the Mishna says they go out on Chol Hamoed. Right. So I understand that people go out on Purim because the type of people that are police, they don't have much of a Purim anyways. You know, that personality type, the shushers and all that, like you're saying. So those guys, anyways, they're not really doing much on Purim.
We call them the mass patrollers, Lou.
Yeah. So those guys don't have much of a Purim anyways. They might as well go out. Right, that's what I figure, right? So whatever it is, it's a stira. So Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chanina, Chad Omar. So they both say terutzim. Chad Omar kan bebechir, kan ba'afil. One said that One is talking about the early growth, and one is talking about the later growth. Meaning the early growth you have to go out on Adar, and the later growth you have to go on Chol Hamoed. One is talking about for seeds, and one is talking about for vegetables, right? Because Zrayim really, Rashi says, is grain, not seeds, right? So for grain, they go out on the 15th of Adar because that stuff grows faster than vegetables. Fine. So what?
Why not come in the
No, it's just the mitzias. That's the earlier stuff. They have to go out earlier to check out the kelaim before it grows. Right? So that's all if you don't see it growing a little bit. Nitzan literally means a spark. But if they realize that the stuff is starting to grow early, then they're going to go out earlier than that. Okay, now the Gemara asks Simon, this is your question from yesterday. Why are they going on Chol Hamoed? So Rav Yaakov, Rav Yochanan, Mishum Schar Peula de Meizle Gaban. Because the workers are cheap. Schar Peula, the schar for workers, is cheap then. Why? Because they're not working. Right? So there's no competition. So since there's no competition, there's plenty of people that are willing to go out. And you could pay them cheap. You can pay them much less. So therefore, we're going to save money by paying the inspectors less money. So therefore, they go on a Chol Hamoed, which is really, really a wild terror. So basically, we're doing this malacha that really shouldn't be done on Chol Hamoed in order to save money. Right? That's what we're doing. So says Taisus. Well, no, they're going to go out and rip up the kelaim too. They don't just. Well,
hopefully, they won't find any.
Yeah, shkoyach, but if they do, they have to pull it out, right?
That's a mitzvah saseh. What are they supposed to do? That's not malacha. They have to.
I understand. Still malacha. They could do it before Chol Hamoed. They're waiting for Chol Hamoed in order to save money.
Yeah, but it's not a vadai when they go. They're not vadai doing malacha.
But it's never a vadai. But first of all, it depends on what
it's not true. It is vadai. It is vadai on Chol Hamoed that they do this. It says in that
vadai that they're going to find kelaim and have to pull it out.
No, it's vadai that they go out, and if they go out,
that's fine. The going out is
working. No, but that's working. That's working on Chol Hamoed, even the going out.
So what's the problem?
So is working allowed on Chol Hamoed?
If it's a separate mitzvah on this.
If a Jew can save $1, why not?
Yeah, right. I was saying it's the most Jewish thing you could do, but. How is it like we're even asking a question on this because it's literally it says in the Mishna that this is something that they did, right? So why are we asking a question on this? It's by based in the times of what do you call it? In times of the Beis Hamikdash. Outside of that, they didn't do this. So why are we even asking a question on something that was
no? Why did the Beis Hamikdash do this on Chol Hamoed? That's what the Gemara is asking. Why Chol Hamoed dafka?
But this is our raya that you could do things. How do we bring rayas from things that we no longer haven't been gay in thousands of years at this point?
No, but all you're asking is why? Why what do you call it? Why on Chol Hamoed? So look at the Taisus. The third Taisus up. Taisus asks, so one of the people that we're going to learn in the next parak that is allowed to do work on Chol Hamoed is if he has nothing to eat. So according to that opinion, so the workers here are allowed to take their money. They're allowed to get paid because they're mistama, they need the money. Otherwise, they wouldn't hire themselves out. But the one that says that even if you need money, you're not allowed to take money, right? I don't know. Tais is saying, I don't know how they're allowed to, right? Like Gershon. Yeah, we tried to push him off, but we're going to do right. The Gershon was mechamed to the Taisus.
We right? Also all this Chol Hamoed. Did we do it on Sukkot also, or we're just talking about Pesach?
No, just Pesach because Sukkot wasn't the crops. It's only because the crops started growing then, so it's only Pesach, right? I think. But anyway, so that's what Taisus is saying. Maybe for a mitzvah. So then what comes out according to Taisus is that you're allowed to hire yourself out for a mitzvah on Chol Hamoed. So tutoring, right? What's that have to do tutor on Chol Hamoed? Right? Schools are usually closed, but I'm saying, okay, whatever it is, but from here it sounds like if you're doing a mitzvah, so then you're allowed to hire yourself out. So about all.
Tiago, so you're allowed to make a circus because people have a place to go.
So that's also tzarich moed. That's a tzarich moed. But how are you allowed to take money? So I get you're allowed to take money because of that, right?
Tutoring is schar batala. If you have to be batala anyway, maybe you probably can you charge for tutoring a Chol Hamoed?
The Velt certainly does, I think.
We've had similar questions to this in Gemaras before. We've answered more than once that the Rahman Chas Rahmana Mamayna Shal Yisrael. So we just said that it's cheaper on Chol Hamoed. Why isn't that a good enough answer?
Right, I hear. I don't know. Well, let's wait till the second parak for this. This is really second parak sugi, right? Whatever it is, so they found cheap workers. And now this next, I got a kick out of a kick, and it's not the right way to say a lashon of Gemara, but I'm saying this next Gemara, again, that this is my thing that we think that Klal Yisrael is doing so bad nowadays. We see what kind of characters they had in Klal Yisrael back then. So I try pulling off this on Rabban and what the Gemara is about to say nowadays and see what happens. So when we pay these workers, we pay them from the money from the Beis HaMikdash, these, right? And meaning we don't charge the people that had the kelaim. Meaning what happens is these guys have to go out and make sure they don't have kelaim. So now they have to go work the field and destroy all the kelaim. So why should the Beis HaMikdash pay for that? Let charge it to the person who was over on the Isser of kelaim. So what I'm saying must be from this Gemara that you don't charge him, and it comes from the Beis HaMikdash, right? We'd think that the money is coming from the person who did the Aveira of kelaim. So what do we care to save money? Whenever the people come to check them out, then they're going to have to pay them, right? Meaning we're saying that the reason why we're sending out on Chol Hamoed is because we want to save money. Who wants to save money? We want to save money from the people that were over on kelaim. Who cares about their money, right? So it must be that's the Beis HaMikdash paying them, and therefore we do care about the Beis HaMikdash's money. Okay. Vad kama? And how much?
What? The same question. Why are we sending out inspectors?
Right. So for whatever reason, we're sending them out. But
if they funds, what's the
correct? I don't know, but it's an interesting thing that they get paid for. That's what I was asking if anybody came across anything. I didn't look too hard. I looked a little bit to see what is the pshat. Why such a chashivas to the kelaim that we even have to take money from the Beis HaMikdash fund to make sure people don't have kelaim.
So I'm saying, so what I said before, a little bit, a person.
I know, but you're not saying pshat. You're just saying a thing that, okay, clearly there's a chashivas to it, but what's a pshat? Right? I don't know.
I'm wondering now if it could be that there's a relatively common agricultural practice to switch crops every year. And if that happens, then it could be that the farmer planted one crop over another, and the sfichim from the last crop grew under it.
So you're saying he's an einus.
He didn't plant kelaim.
So these are just inspectors.
So Bezdin have to worry about Eretz Yisrael having kelaim in it. He didn't plant
ruining
it. This happened.
It's ruining, and it's ruining the land. It's taking away the
right. It's ruining the land of Eretz Yisrael. Yeah.
I don't remember where I saw it, but it was like we said before that they switched the laws. It used to people were trying to make the inspectors do their work for them, so they weren't.
That's right. We're getting that in a minute.
They weren't careful on the rotational crops. They would put the gourds where the chitim was and this and that. And all of a sudden you'd have like all these crazy things with kelaim like all over the place, but they didn't care because, hey, guess what? The inspectors are coming Pesach time. They'll be ma'aka everything anyway.
Gershon, this inspectors only came to Eretz Yisrael, or they came to Babel also?
Only in Eretz Yisrael. It's for kelaim. What do you mean?
Yago, I thought one guy's gonna say because if we're not nizar on kelaim, who knows what else? We start with mixing. We're going mixed dancing.
Maybe, maybe, maybe.
Yaakov, why is it considered a public need?
I don't know.
That's what's bothering me. That's what's bothering me.
I don't know. I have no idea what's going on over here. I don't understand it. Unless Gershon's shot is that it's, with whatever, sucking out the kedusha of the land, literally and figuratively. I don't know.
Okay, we already said that Gershon was right twice tonight already.
I know. It's a problem. It's a problem. Let's go weiter. Yeah, fine. Va'ad kama, right? So how much is kelaim that you're mechayev to be mevatel it? So I'm sure bar Yitzchak ka'isa sheshaninu, like we learned, kol sa sheyeshba, any saw, meaning a field the size of a saw that has in it on Talmud Beis now roiva zera mimin acher yimayit. It has a quarter of a kav, Rashi says, which is 1/24 of a saw. So if it has 1/24 mixed in of a different type of crop, then you have to get rid of it. Meaning you don't have to get rid of it, you have to get it to less than 1/24. So meaning the field can have less than 1/24 of a different crop in it, and then that's fine. But Tanya, so Gemara asks, what are you saying that you're supposed to knock it down to less than 1/24? Then we learn that you make the whole field hefker, then anybody can come into the field and take whatever they want from the guy. Right? So it's not that they knock down the problematic growth, they just be mafker the whole field. So here's where it gets interesting. One was before the takana, and one was after the takana. The Tanya, meaning before the takana, they just removed up to 1/24 of the field. After the takana, they made it hefker. Why? Because what happened? The Tanya Barishaina, right in the beginning, what they did, the inspectors did, is they would go and they would be oiker the problematic vegetables, and then they would put it in front of the animals. And the balabatim would have a double simcha, right? So they say they got a free what do you call it? Whatever menachshin. They got their field taken care of for them by the Beis HaMikdash, no less. Right? And not only that, they fed their animals. So basically, if you were a smart guy, you planted kelaim, and then the people from the Beis HaMikdash came on the house, and they would come, fix your field, and feed your animals. So it was a win-win. So they were mistaken that they would uproot it and they wouldn't give it to the animals, they throw it into the street. But and they were still happy. Simcha gedayla, a big simcha. Right? So it's interesting because the first one said they were happy, two happinesses, and this one they were still happy, a simcha gedayla. Shemenachshin, so they saying that because they were weeding out the field. Says and then they made a takana that they were mafkir the whole field. Can you tell me what kind of yidden they had back then? So they're being over on these surim, and then they're happy because they take care of their fields for them.
I would say it's mashma like what I said. They're using the word menachshin. They're weeding. They didn't want this crop to begin with. It's tzvichen.
But they wouldn't be happy. They wouldn't be happy about it that they're getting a free service.
They will.
Why
they're going to harvest? Because they're going to eventually harvest the crops that they want, and they're going to end up with a mess. Now Bezdin's coming along and taking out the bad stuff.
I'm saying, so that makes you that you're happy about that. You should go do tshuva that by mistake you planted kelaim.
They're happy because
they don't have to do the work.
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't it's like all these not-from people, right? So they buy them tefillin and they bring them this and they make them that. It's like sometimes it's geschmack, you know what I mean?
I understand, but those guys are trying to become better. These guys, I don't know what they're doing. These chevra.
Yaakov, there's nothing like a good yid who saved himself some shekels. That's the bottom line.
That's what comes out. Can you imagine if a guy says they go out and they buy unfiltered phones and then they get them replaced and they're all happy, right? Because I'm getting free phones from Tzedakah because I have an unfiltered phone, so I'm going to replace it.
Yes, it's Yaakov, but we would go out and buy the iPhone SE and get it replaced with the 13 or the 14.
Right. Well, with a filter, right? I have to tell you, one of the guys in the beginning program in Shayashiv told me he went up to Meron. They went up to Meron. He just became from. He don't know anything. They said, trade in your smartphone here and get a free phone. So he says, great. He gives them the phone. They take out a hammer. They smash it and give him a flip phone. He was like, what just happened here? Right. So I'm saying, This, I don't know if that
And
guy's
now,
still
and now
full or
he's
not.
planting kelaim.
Right. So this seems to be the opposite of that. Anyway, okay, fine. Zog the Mishnah. Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov Aimer, Moishchen es hamayim mi'ilan le'ilan. So you're allowed to pull water from one tree to another tree. Meaning, you're trying to irrigate your field, and your trees might die in Chol Hamoed. So you're allowed to water them. As kol hasad, as long as you don't water the entire field, because watering the entire field, that's already too much. And then another pshat, zrayim, seeds, shalai shasul me'amayim, that you didn't give them to drink, meaning you didn't water them before Chol Hamoed, meaning before Pesach or before Sukkot, you didn't water your crops. All of a sudden, you wake up on Chol Hamoed, you say, "Oh, I need to water my crops." So the Tanna Kama says, "Lo yashkem Moed." You're not allowed to give it on you're not allowed to do it on Moed because you didn't do it before Moed. The Chachamim say both of them are allowed. You're allowed to water the whole field, and you're allowed to even plant. You're even allowed to water the vegetables, even if they weren't watered before. Who is the Rashi says that's Rameir. If the Olam remembers from Beis Amud Aleph, which I didn't till I saw the Rashi, right? That on Beis Amud Aleph, Rameir is very meiko. Rameir says you could just do all the crops on Chol Hamoed. He's not worried about hefs and meruba. He's not worried about all these things. He just says you can do as regular. So that's who that's referring to. Fine. So Amar Rav Zakti, Amar Rav Yehuda, im ha'isa sadeh metunenes muter. But if it's a field that's normally it's irrigated, and for some reason it dried up, then you're allowed to dry it up. When we said that it's usher to irrigate the fields on Chol Hamoed,
If that's your Chol Hamoed activity, you're allowed to plant in your garden, right?
not simple at all. You're talking about like with the kids?
Yeah.
Oh no, not simple at all. The apple picking.
Not apple picking, but in yourself, you want to plant the vegetable garden,
No, there's no. You really should not. No, not on Chol Hamoed. No, it's not. It's mamash iser. It could be. Well, the shaila is whether Chol Hamoed is the rise of the. Question is for kids: is it a ma'isa mayid or we are allowing it? That's a shaila.
Even flowers, something to make it pretty. Nothing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
maybe if it's not
once.
professional and it's a tzarich mayid, then maybe.
I got one time bought trees on Chol Hamoed to plant, and I realized it's Chol Hamoed, so I let them sit out and they died. But I bought it from Costco. But
yeah, well, once you bought it, so then maybe. Yeah, no, but that's also the doing. We're gonna get to this in the second parak. Doing the
the Costco part takes out the double oven.
Here, that's true because of return. What do you call it? No, that's what do you call what the thing they all ask about doing? Pottery. They want to paint pottery on Chol Hamoed. I asked Rav Hillel David about this. He says he doesn't see any heter to do the painting the pottery. It's mamash and isser, and it's not for Chol Hamoed because the pottery always takes a week for it to be ready. Right? The apple picking, so there's this heterim, but that is whatever. Anyways, we'll get to that.
Doesn't things change though? Like people aren't making pottery anymore for the most part. People aren't making pottery anymore to put their vegetables in over the winter. They're making a coffee cup that it gets.
Right, but you're doing mamish real malacha.
It's a professional skill.
They're making something you're never ever going to use your whole life.
You are going to use it. You are going to use it when it falls down. You're going to use it. We have to pick up the broken
pottery. Throw it out before Pesach.
It's the act of painting pottery and then they glaze it for you. Whoa, that would be us also.
Yeah, that's what painting.
Why? What are you doing?
Painting.
Stop. Shidduchim is a whole different story. If you're on a shidduch date and you're doing
I'm not talking about shidduchim. I'm asking.
That's mama shidduch oven. You know what I mean?
What about Build-A-Bear? Build-A-Bear is also a problem.
Yaakov, I don't understand. You're painting the pottery. You're not doing any malacha yourself. Painting is not doing the malacha.
Sure, it is. Painting is malacha. Why is that? Coloring.
It's decorative pottery. Of course it is. What part of it is actual malacha?
Coloring. Writing.
You're saying any malacha that would be usher and Yom Tov?
Yes.
The bottom
I
line
thought
is
it's al tirchi seir we usher things.
No. Writing is a malacha. It's a legit malacha.
So stop writing on Yom Tov on Chol Hamoed you're not allowed to do?
Correct, unless you have a tzairich, and even then it should be done with a shinoi. But we're going to get to that, Bez Hashem. You see, that'd be the old days, in this Shaila. Now with the technology, it took away that Shaila. Taking score in the bowling game, when you finally realize on Chol Hamoed there's nothing to do. So about 4 or 5 o'clock, you decide to go bowling, right? So then, right, that's the go-to thing, and then you got to write the score. See, that whole Shaila.
How old are you?
How can you drive a car?
Write the score.
How can you
I'm
drive
old,
a car?
man. Looks are not deceiving. What are you saying?
Where's the heter to drive a car on the Chol Hamoed?
Oh, that's Akiva, you're saying good. Stam a drive for no reason.
No, for any reason. If it's not a reason that has to do with what's the tzarek at this point.
One second, Akiva, I'll bump in for a second. The Shaila you said over in the 10 Chol Hamoed is the Murdik Shaila Akiva just brought up. You remember that Shaila?
Walk the shoulder.
Akiva, listen to this. A guy came to Farakwe for Yom Tif, but he lives in Lakewood. Okay? He's flying to his in-laws for the second days.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
so
very
he
good.
calls and he asks Sviako if on Chol Hamoed he can drive his car to Newark Airport to leave it there because he wants to fly back there so he can go to work right after Yom Tif.
So he's driving on Chol Hamoed for after Yom Tif. That's the only
Why is he
reason.
flying to his in-laws in the middle of Yom Tif also? It's not tzarek.
Okay, no, so that's a tzarech Yom Tif. That's a tzarech Yom Tif, Akiva. So yeah, you're right. Akiva, that's a good question. Why should you drive to shul? If your shul is a minute down the block, why should you drive to shul? Come in. Right? Yeah.
I'm saying anything that has nothing to do with a mitzvah, why are you doing it?
A little late. So. What?
Anything that doesn't have to do with a mitzvah for Yom Tif, what are you doing it for?
No, it's Tzarech Yom Tif. Tzarech Yom Tif's allowed.
What's the Tzarech Yom Tif? Bowling is a Tzarech Yom Tif?
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so this is really in the second parak. So
listen, if we go push up chat, we can mamish ask to the whole Chol Hamoed everything.
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm asking you.
Right.
I don't understand. The whole Chol Hamoed is also.
Akiva, you're 100% right. You are right. Chol Hamoed is be'etzem. This is the problem.
That's why Mashiach's not here.
No, it could be. I don't know. But Chol Hamoed be'etzem, everything is asur. There are a few things that are mutter, right? And we took it the opposite. We say everything is mutter. There's a few things that are asur. Akiva, what you're saying is the way Chol Hamoed is supposed to be. Yes. Okay. We'll see in second parak.
You're going to learn the first Sif Katan of the Mishna Brew and Hilchos Chol Hamoed, the Zagdama from the second parak.
Yep.
See, I'm going to wait for the status tomorrow.
That's I can't. maybe. Fine. So fine. Let's
pay us a lot of money.
Tanya Nami Hachi, yeah. Kishamru asal lahashkos Moed lo yamru ela b'zrayim shelo shasu lifnei Moed. It's only with zrayim that were implanted before Moed. I was zrayim sheshasu lifnei Moed, but if with zrayim that were given to drink before Moed, mutar lahashkos and b'Moed, then it's mutar to give them to drink on Moed. Bim ha'sasadim etunanes. Mutter, and if it's a field that's normally irrigated and for some reason it dried up, then it's mutter to give it to drink. I don't know, however you say it. You can put water there. You're not allowed to take a field that's normally dry. You're not allowed to put water on it. The say that's mutter, right? Because like we said, that's the Rameir. So high tarbitza. So this a garden, Rashi says, you're allowed to sprinkle water on it on Chol Hamoed, meaning it's not a full watering, it's a partial watering just to what it is gonna, let's see if it tells Sada garden my time, because why is it a dry field, right? You're not allowed to I'm saying what do we say? Just lost the the Macham say it's mutter. Because what happens is the afla, mashvi lacharfa, what's going to, by sprinkling it, what's going to happen, it's going to make something that would have grown late in the season, and it's going to make it grow earlier. So there's a reason for that. So here too, by the garden, by sprinkling a little bit, then it's okay. But lamaisa, it's watering things, and it doesn't sound like it's going to be for a loss, right? So Taisa says that really what the pshat is because it's sprinkling is not a tircha. You're just putting a little bit of water on it. So that's not such a tircha, and therefore it's okay. Fine. Taner Rabbanan, marbitzin sada lavan b'shvius. You're allowed to sprinkle the water on a sada lavan, which we said before. It's a sada lavan is for wheat. It's a white field. But you can't do it on Chol Hamoed. Right? So you're allowed to do it whether it's on Chol Hamoed, whether it's on Shemitah. So we have a stira. So Amar Rav Huna loikasha Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov harabbanan. One's Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, who holds that it's also to water the fields on Chol Hamoed, and one is talking about the Rabbanan, who say that it's mutter. Tanya Ida, Mabitzin Sada Lavan Erev Shvius. You are allowed to sprinkle water on a Sada Lavan and Erev Shvius Kadesha Yatsu Yurakas B'Shvius, so that the vegetables should grow during Shemitah. And you could even do this wheat field on Shvius, so that the vegetables will go for Moed Shvius, right? But again, you're not allowed to do it on Shemitah. Right? This is saying you're sprinkling the water on Erev Shvius, right? Well, that's the first. Yeah, that's the first case. Yeah. The first case is Erev Shvius, that it should grow on Shvius. And the second case is you're going to sprinkle it on Shvius because you want it to grow after Shemitah, not on Shemitah. You would not be allowed to water a garden on Shemitah in order for it to grow on Shemitah. It's only for it to grow after Shemitah. Okay. Fine. Next malacha that's mutter. Zok the Mishna.
Wait, I'm sorry. Then how would we be allowed to set in the Shemitah book? Ramon says that you're allowed. The halacha says they're allowed to set prior to the Shemitah year coming on. I think it was like the week before that they can set the automatic waters now. Or when now that the technology comes, so he's
matter them to set automatic water.
I don't know if he's giving psak a lot. I don't think he's giving psak. I think he's just telling what goes on. What's been allowed.
I don't know. I didn't.
And it's not just like it's CINE and this and had to mechir. So it's like I think it was like the most Haredi so post like that you could get in this realm said you would be able to do it.
I hear. Okay, I don't know. I didn't read up on that, so I'm not so familiar. Okay, so let's see the next. We can finish even if it's late. We can finish this next thing. It's pretty easy Gemara. So Zok the Mishna. Tzadan as a ishus as akvarim misada ilan misada alav and kedarka b'mayed ubeshvius. You're allowed to trap. Ishus is some sort of rodent, and an akbar is a mouse from a field that has trees, and from the wheat field. In the regular way on Chol Hamoed, even though trapping is an isur malacha, you're allowed to do it because they're going to ruin the field. The Chum disagree. They say trees, yes, because that's going to be a big loss. But a Sada you could only do it with a shinoi, not in the regular way, because it's not going to be such a big loss. Right? Because they're going to eat by the trees, they'll eat the roots of the trees and kill the whole tree. And by the weeds, they'll eat a little bit of weeds. It's not such a big loss. So you do it with the shinu. Umakrin es a pirza b'mayed. You're allowed to close up a pirza on Chol Hamoed, meaning you're allowed to, if the wall was broken down, so you got to keep the animals out of your field, otherwise it's going to be a loss. So you're allowed to do that on Chol Hamoed. Shemitah, you even allowed to build a wall in the regular way. You can just go build walls on Shemitah, even though it looks like you're protecting the field. So that we'll see tomorrow's Daf Bez Hashem why that is. So
what's wrong with trapping a mole on Shemitah?
No, he says different. On the bottom, the footnote, he says because it looks like he's plowing.
Well, which one are you going on? Which going on?
With the mole, he's burrowing on the ground, making a trap.
So it looks like
he's plowing.
You're fixing the field. You're fixing your field.
On
Chol Hamoed.
You're working.
We're super worried about Maris Ayin when it comes to Shemitah. I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
Like over the top with a lot of things.
Yeah. So okay, I don't know. But I'm saying Rashi says
all those people gave money to Karen Shvius. I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe that's why, because we're so machmir. But anyway, so no Gershon, the answer Rashi says it looks like you're fixing the field by trapping the animals. You're fixing the field. Now it looks like you are fixing the field. Yeah. Okay, so the walls will do on tomorrow's Daf Bez Hashem. So my ishus, what type of rodent is this ishus? So Rav Yehuda beria she'ein La einayim, it's a berry that has no eyes. That's what it is, right? So it goes under the ground. So that's yeah. So it's okay. I don't know. So therefore, I guess because it digs, that's what it means. It's because it's blind, so it digs under the ground. It's fine. So Amar Rava Bar Yishmael B'Tem Rav Yemer B'Shamia Mikra. What's a pasuk? How do we know that this is that a ishus is blind? K'moi shablul temes yaloich nefel ishus palchazu shamash. Like the snail, like a shablul that melts, it's going and it goes away, and then the ishus, which excuse me, which is the Ashus, which is the Ishus, it doesn't see the sun. So you see that it's blind. Fine. You're allowed to trap these rodents from a wheat field and from a field of trees the regular way. And you're allowed to destroy ant holes. Okay. Okay, Ketzan Machriven, how do you destroy them? Maybe offer Mechurze, what you do to destroy ant hills is you take dirt from this hole, and then you go and you put it into another hole. And what happens is they choke each other. So Rashi says the reason why they choke each other is like a science project, because they smell the dirt that's foreign to them, and they don't recognize it, and then they just like stampede on each other. Right, so that's okay. So that's what gets them to be killed, and then they don't affect your fields. But that's only if the two holes are on two different sides of the river, because otherwise the dirt is the same. And also if there's no bridge connecting both sides of the river. And there's also where there's no piece of wood. How do you call it? That's going across. And also there's no rope that goes across. Ad, on Talmud Aleph, ad kama, until how far away? Meaning how far do the ant holes have to be away from each other? Ad parsa, till a parsa, right? Yeah. So.
Then we have the same exact thing with the chickens laying eggs, female and male across the river, ad parsa.
Yeah, the
They
crows,
can
you can hear
smell
them.
each
The crows can hear them.
They can hear each other, yeah.
Right, taka. So with the river separates it. Yeah.
Jacob, according to this, what would be wrong with chasing the flies and the bees out of the sukkah, according to this?
On Chol Hamoed?
On Yom Tif. Yom Tif, yeah.
On Yom Tif to chase them? You could chase them.
Yeah?
Yeah, the Shiloh is trapping them.
Be trapping us, tzad.
Right. So Shiloh's, can you trap them? So that's really depends if you're scared that they're going to bite you, right? You're not scared that they're going to bite you, then it's no problem. Okay, well, I guess we'll stop here.
I'm saying we're doing
it should be regular time. It should be regular time, but it might be slightly late depending on how I'm running, but I'll post it if I'm running late. All right, good enough. What are you saying, Aaron?
I'm saying that if we're saying that we're allowed to trap the animals to protect the field, Kolshkin to protect people, I would say, no? The trapping part.
Yes, on Chol Hamoed for sure it'd be okay. Right, we're mixing up Yom Tov and Chol Hamoed. On Chol Hamoed definitely would be okay. Right, it's Yom Tov that's more of the issue. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That way Rashi here goes to the fixing the field issue. Because outside on Chol Hamoed, you won't be over this. Even on Yom Tov, you won't be over.
I thought he's getting into the fixing the field issue of Shemitah.
It could be for Chol Hamoed also. The Tzeda issue is not Negeya. It's not Tzad, because it's Ein Tzricha L'Gufa. It's Shaloi Tzricha L'Gufa. Malacha Shein Tzricha L'Gufa.
Are we going to be mad to that?
On Chol Hamoed?
No, why not? We mad to Malacha Shein Tzricha L'Gufa on Chol Hamoed?
Jacob, you're going to give shir where tomorrow?
Depends when that chuppah is over.
Yeah.
Pashtus from the hall, yeah.
Okay.
Pashtus from the hall, right? I mean, it's called for 7:30 chuppah. So I mean, it's not going to. It'll be over be'erich right before the daf. I hope. If it's not, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
That'd be
Anyway,
two drabanans, according to Rashi.
are we mata
Rashi
to
also
the
left as
rabbanans?
drabanan.
Are we mata to the rabbanans of Chol Hamoed?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. Not holding Chol Hamoed.
Shvus b'makom pseida.
Okay, maybe. Right here. All right, I got somebody here. Fine. Said.
All right. Yashikaya.
Perez.